Hi everyone, that's always awkward that first second there before I can switch the camera. This is Charlene with myfrugaladventures.com. You can catch me over there blogging about some cool online shopping deals, easy tips for moms, crafts, recipes, some different things, or you can catch me on Instagram at frugaladventure. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that has made a huge impact in my life and changed it really for the better, and I'm hoping that some of these tips will help you guys as well. My whole life I have struggled with being a night owl. I stay up really late reading or trying to get stuff done or whatever, and then I wake up in the morning and I'm tired, I'm sluggish, I'm maybe irritable, overwhelmed, all those different things. And I've always wanted to be one of those people that woke up with the sun and was just filled with joy and happiness and sunshine. And I've never been like that ever. I've always been jealous of those people, but I've never been like that. So I found 5 things that have really helped me switch from being a night owl to being a morning person, and I feel so good. I have to tell you guys, I really feel so good right now, and I'm so much more productive, and I think more present with my kids, and it's just, I can't believe what a difference it's made. So I want to talk to you about what I did and what worked for me, and hopefully it will work for you as well. The first thing is that I really had to set my mind to this. I had to commit to myself and make the decision and not just talk about, hey, it would be nice if I got up earlier. I wouldn't feel so frantic in the morning. Instead of doing that, I had to really commit to myself and say, listen, you are going to do this for you. And I had 2 big reasons why I wanted to do this. The first reason is that I read so many articles about how much healthier people who wake up early in the morning are, how much more productive, how much happier. I mean, you can read endless articles that will say your lifestyle overall is just better when you wake up early in the morning. And I tend to snack a lot at night. I'll be up until like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I get tired and I'm not making as good of choices because I'm just so fatigued. And then I'll snack. I'll get like cereal or popcorn or crackers, or I'll just be eating candy or something that I don't need, but I think I'm just tired and looking for like a little energy. And so that was one major reason why I just simply wanted to stop staying up late. I thought, you know what, I could probably lose 5 pounds if I wasn't doing this, if I broke this habit. And then the other reason is that I was waking up before, I was going to bed at about midnight or 1, and then waking up at 7. And my kids we have to be out the door on our way to school at 7:45. So if I wake up at 7, I have to get 2 little girls ready, plus myself ready, plus get out the door. And I was just overwhelmed and stressed and just waking up like, screaming at everyone like drill sergeant, frantic. I hadn't even looked at my email or my computer or anything, so I would feel stressed about that. Plus, I live on the West Coast, and so if I'm up at 7, that's already 10 on the East Coast. And so everybody else is already 3 or maybe even 4 hours into their day, and I haven't even turned on my computer. So I was just very overwhelmed. So the first thing I did is I set my mind to this, and I made the decision, I'm going to make this change. And I committed to myself that I was going to make this change. The second thing that I did, this is the most important thing, and this was really the key for me. And let me know what you think by some hearts on there so I can know that you guys are listening to this and getting something out of it. I hope you do. But the second thing that was so important was changing my internal conversation with myself. And what I found was that in the morning I was waking up at, say the alarm would go off at 6 o'clock. Immediately in my head I would have negative thoughts and complaints. Oh, it's too cold. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I don't want to get up. Oh, is it morning already? All those thoughts. And then what I would do is I would say, 10 more minutes. I'll hit the snooze button. I'll just close my eyes for 5 more minutes. That's all I need is 5 more minutes. But I would have these negative thoughts, and that immediately sets you up for failure, because who wants to get out of bed when all you're doing is thinking negative things? And so what I started doing, and you consciously have to do this, and it sounds silly, but for me it really worked, is that I consciously had to tell myself to be positive first thing in the morning and stop the negative thoughts. So the alarm goes off and I'm like, oh, I'm tired. Stop it. I'm not tired. it's time to get up, and say positive things to yourself. Okay, if I get up now, I can have my coffee and I have a full hour to get stuff done before the kids are awake, and it's going to be so peaceful and quiet for me to get things done, and maybe I can listen to that podcast, and I can, open up the door and open up the windows and watch the sunrise. And so I start to think positive things, and I'll think to myself, oh, it's Wednesday, my daughter's doing a skit at school and I get to go see that. I better get up so that I can have time to curl her hair this morning, or whatever. I just kind of try and give myself positive things first thing in the morning, and you really have to focus on it, because I think naturally, especially for someone like me, naturally I'm like thinking negative things. I'm thinking, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to get up, it's cold, it's so warm here in bed, so transitioning over to a positive conversation with myself helped a lot. The second part of that is how you talk to yourself. And this was an epiphany that I had in a parenting class that I've been taking at church. And this is, I think, a really good thing to just keep in mind if you do have children, but also when you're interacting with yourself too, or your spouse or whatever. Whatever you tell people, especially kids, they believe. So if you tell your child, say they're clumsy, and none of this is hurtful or mean, like you're trying to be ugly to your child. Of course not. We all love our kids dearly. But sometimes you say things without thinking, and if you're telling a child, say they're clumsy, then they're going to believe that they're clumsy, regardless of whether they're clumsy or not. That's what they're going to tell yourself. Well, mommy says I'm clumsy, so I'm clumsy. I better not do ballet because I'm clumsy. Or for me, my 6-year-old, she's messy. She's not naturally inclined to be a very tidy person. And sometimes I will get her all dressed, I'll get her ready for school, and she'll go upstairs to brush her teeth, and she'll come downstairs and she's like a wreck. I'm like, what? To the point where I have to like change her clothes, and I don't even know what happened. I'm like, what happened in the 4-minute time span, from the kitchen to the bathroom? What happened? And so sometimes I would say, oh, my messy girl, let's hurry and get you changed and brush your hair again before school. But I would call her messy. And obviously she means the world to me. I adore my baby, but I wasn't trying to be mean to her, but I would just say things without thinking, like, oh, my messy girl. And then in her mind, she's going to start thinking, well, I'm messy, so I don't have to clean my room, or, whatever. And it's the same thing can apply to you. If you're telling yourself all the time, I'm a night owl, I'm not a morning person, I hate the morning, I don't like to get up in the morning, I'm slow in the morning, whatever it is, if you're telling yourself that, you're going to believe that. So it's the same principle. So you have to start being nice to yourself and telling yourself, even though it might sound fake or it might sound kind of stupid, it really worked for me. Tell yourself, I am a morning person. I am a morning person. And eventually you will start to believe it, and it will help you to change this habit. Because really, ultimately, what it boils down to is staying up too late at night is a habit. And not getting up early enough in the morning, not getting up when your alarm goes off and hitting the snooze 100 times or whatever, it's habit. It is habit, and you've got to break the habit. So it's just like when people say, if you're having a bad day, smile and you'll feel better, and you're like, shut up. But the same is true here. If my daughter's like really grumpy and I tickle her, or we have, pillow fight, or I do something silly or make a silly face, it turns her whole mood around. So it's the same thing. Give yourself positive self-talk and change the conversation that goes on in your head from negative and complaining to positive, and, what do we have to look forward to? That was the big key for me. The third thing, I want to get through this really quickly, but just changing your bedtime. You've got to change your bedtime. We all know that. For me, what that meant is sometimes I would say to myself, okay, I want to get up at 6, so I need to be in bed by 10:30. I need to be asleep by 10:30. So what that means is everything has to be, I have to be very disciplined. Everything has to be off. Thank you, Purple Hearts, whoever you are. Everything has to be off by 10. I can't be on my phone, because I will tell myself, oh, I'm just going to check Pinterest really quick, or I'm going to send that one email, or Nani, thank you, or I'm just going to pop in on Facebook or Instagram for a second, because that's a lie. I'm not going to do it for a second. I'm going to get sidetracked. I'm going to get into something, and it's going to be an hour. And I'm not going to go to bed at 10:30. I'm going to go to bed at 11:30 or later. So what I do is I have to shut everything off. by 10, and then I'm either like reading for that last half an hour, watching TV or whatever it is, and then shutting everything off at 10:30. And I will tell you that since I have made this change, I used to kind of struggle to go to sleep, and I think it was because I was getting like a second wind. But now that I have changed this habit and I have started to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, let me tell you, my head hits the pillow and I'm out. That's it. I'm out. I am sleeping through the night, and that wasn't the case before. So that's been a huge benefit to me. And I do work out almost every day, 5 days a week usually. And I think that that helps quite a bit as well with your sleep if that's an issue for you. So that was the other thing. Okay, so change your bedtime. That's tip number 3. 4 is to set yourself up for success. And I do this every single night because I visualize in the morning when I come down the stairs. One of the things that motivates me to get out of bed is that I know I'll have that hour of peace and quiet to do with whatever I like and to spend how I want and to kind of ease into my day. So if I come downstairs and everything's a mess and there's dirty dishes in the sink and I just want to make my coffee and my favorite cup is dirty and the pot roast from last night smells and the kids' junk is all over, then it doesn't set up your day to be a positive one. It sets up your day to be like stressful, right? And then instead of utilizing your extra time that you got by waking up earlier, instead of using that effectively, you're puttering around doing all this nonsense. And then the kids are awake and you're like, I'm behind. So what I do is every night we completely clean the kitchen after dinner, and wipe off all the counters, get all the junk off the counters, all the kids' homework is put away, their backpacks are packed. I pack all of their lunches, I set out all of their clothes for the next day. Activities, we have activities 4 days a week, dance, cheer, soccer, all that. So we lay all that stuff out. And once you get into a routine of it, it really doesn't take that long. It takes about 30 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I catch up on my Periscopes usually, or I might watch, listen to a podcast or an audiobook. So it's not like I feel like I'm, a slave or something. It's like I'm using the time well to do something that I like. So, anyway, that's what I do. I clean up the kitchen. I get everything organized. So in the morning, I come down the stairs. I am standing in the kitchen, turning on the coffee pot, and I just feel at peace. The kitchen is completely clean. There's not junk everywhere, and it's just a great way to start your day. The other part of this, really quick, is that I make my to-do list the night before. And sometimes I'm so tired at night. I'm like, this is just one more thing. I don't want to do this. But if I make my to-do list the night before, then in the morning when I come down, I can ease into my day and have someone telling me what to do instead of me having to immediately have my brain start functioning perfectly, if that makes sense. So what I like to do is dig in immediately to all the easy tasks on my to-do list. Like I'll sit down at my computer and I usually have about an hour before the kids get up, and I will schedule the doctor's appointment. I will, email out that contract. I'll respond to that email. I'll do all those like little annoying things. I'll get them all off my list really quick. It's mindless, and so I can be listening to music, or I can listen to a podcast or Periscope or whatever it is, and just kind of enjoy the morning. And then once the kids are awake an hour later, I really feel like I've accomplished a lot because I've crossed 6 or 7 things off my to-do list. What most productivity people will tell you is to immediately jump into the hardest task on your list. That's the first thing you do in the morning. But for me, what I have found is like maybe yesterday the hardest task on my list was an article I wanted to write, and I had to edit the photos and do the graphics and all that. I mean, that's like a 4 or 5 hour block of time. So if I start that at 6 o'clock in the morning, or even 5:30 in the morning, and the kids are up at 7, I've only just gotten into that huge task, and then the kids are up and I'm like distracted. I'm only half in because I'm right in the middle of this big thing, and I've got to shift gears quickly and get into mommy happy, let's have a good day mode, and I can't do it. Like my mind doesn't shift that fast. So I find it easier to just check off all the little things that don't take a lot of brain power and then get that out of the way. And then I take the kids to school, I go to the gym, I come home, I shower, I might you know, make lunch by then or whatever, and then I start my big project for the day. And I usually will have like a 4-hour block of time so I can really dive in and hopefully finish whatever it is. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, that's just what I do. So set yourself up for success, and that will look a little bit different for everybody, but I really encourage you to try to get ready for the morning so that you set yourself up to have a great, great day. And then the very last tip that I have is to just stay consistent with it, which is hard, but I learned this the hard way. Even on the weekends, you have to be so consistent with this. And sometimes on the weekends, what I would find myself doing is going to bed a little bit later. And then in the morning, I might naturally wake up at 6, which is when I should be getting up. But, you know, the house was quiet and it's the weekend, so maybe I would go back to sleep. And then what I was finding, even if I was only going back to sleep till like 7 or 7:30, what I was finding is that all day long, I felt useless. I was tired, sluggish. By 3 o'clock, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to take a nap. I can't handle this. You know, so it really was really affecting how I felt during the day. So I've now on the weekends, I'm like, you know what? When I wake up, when my eyes open, I do not go back to sleep because I know I'm not going to feel good if I do. So that's my last tip. And again, it's made a huge difference in my life, and I feel so much better than I have in a really long time. And I am an absolute night owl. So if I can make this change, then you can make this change. And I challenge you to try these tips for the next week or so and see how you feel and how much better your day goes and how much more relaxed of a mom you are and how much more present you are for your family and all those different things that we all want. This little change might make a big difference. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the hearts, and have a great day.